Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving deep into a story that's captivated the financial world and beyond.
Yeah, this one's got it all. Cryptocurrency, billion-dollar fraud, and even a bit of a love story. Well, maybe not a love story, more like uh,
Cautionary tale.
exactly. We're talking about the collapse of FTX, the role of Caroline Ellison, and the sentence that's left many people scratching their heads.
Right, because on one hand, she was facing over a century behind bars, but on the other.
She walked away with a relatively light sentence.
Exactly. So we're going to unpack all of that today, looking at excerpts from ABC News and Bloomberg, particularly about Ellison's sentencing, plus some legal analysis from law.com about what the judge had to say.
Because this case really raises some interesting questions about accountability, power dynamics, and the often blurry lines between ambition and criminal behavior.
Absolutely. So for those who might not be totally up to speed, let's start with the basics. What was FTX and who is Caroline Ellison?
Okay, so FTX was a cryptocurrency exchange, kind of like a stock market, but for digital currencies. At its peak, we're talking a $32 billion valuation. Massive. And Ellison, she was the head of Alameda Research, FTX's trading arm.
And Alameda was where a lot of the, shall we say, creative accounting was happening?
That's putting it mildly. They were using FTX customer funds to cover risky bets, losing billions in the process.
Talk about a conflict of interest. And then there's the whole Sam Bankman-Fried connection. He founded FTX, and Ellison was romantically involved with him, even calling him her kryptonite.
Yeah, that adds a whole other layer to the story. How much did that relationship influence her decisions? Was there coercion involved? These are tough questions.
Definitely. And the judge even touched on this, describing Ellison as both brilliant, someone clearly capable of running a sophisticated operation like Alameda, but also vulnerable.
Which is crazy when you think about the potential sentence she was facing, 110 years.
I know, right? That's longer than most people's lifetimes. But in the end, she got 2 years. So how does that work?
Cooperation, that's the magic word. Ellison spilled the beans, providing crucial information that helped build the case against Bankman-Fried.
She didn't even wait for FTX to officially go under. She started alerting people about the fraud beforehand.
Right, so that definitely played in her favor. The judge even acknowledged that while cooperation doesn't erase responsibility, it does show a willingness to make amends.
It's a tricky balance, right? Because you want to encourage people to come forward, but at the same time...
Justice needs to be served.
Exactly. So where does Ellison go from here? She's apologized, expressed remorse, and seems to be focusing on rebuilding her life. Charity work, writing a novel, even collaborating on a math textbook.
It's almost hard to reconcile that image with the mastermind behind a multi-billion-dollar fraud.
I know. It really makes you wonder about the nature of redemption, second chances, all of that.
It's a story that stays with you, that's for sure.
It definitely does. And it forces us to ask some tough questions. How do we prevent these kinds of things from happening again? Where do we draw the line between ambition and recklessness?
And how do we hold individuals accountable while also recognizing that systems often enable, even encourage, this kind of behavior?
Those are questions without easy answers, but they're worth wrestling with.
Absolutely. This case is a stark reminder of the complexities of power, greed, and the human cost of financial malfeasance.
Well said. And on that note, let's leave our listeners with this. If even the brightest minds can be seduced by the allure of easy money, how can we, as a society, create safeguards to prevent similar situations from arising in the future?